Hello, hello, aloha, and welcome to another episode of A Better World with Adrienne. My name is Adrienne. I am your host. I am a life magician. I am a leader of New Earth leaders, and this podcast exists as a channel for you to heal, to up-level, to grow, to expand, to nourish, to take flight, to access your magic. Because when you do this, when we all do this, and we're operating in full potency, that's when we build a world we're proud of. That is when we build a new earth. So I'm really deeply excited about today's podcast. It's very special to me, and I am recording from my Airbnb in Los Angeles. So I'm recording this on August 13th, 2023. It is my birthday eve. It is my birthday eve. It is my last day living on the mainland. And before I move to Hawaii on my birthday tomorrow on August 14th, and I really wanted to share my process that I do at the end of every year and share the 5 essential lessons I learned in my 31st year of existence as Adrienne Schroeder this past year. And so that's what this episode is today. It's really, an opportunity for you to receive these lessons, and then an opportunity for you to really just observe and discover my process for reflection, because something that I really believe people miss is when we're on the threshold of a new chapter, many people just look forward, set new goals, set new dreams, set new visions. And you know me, I'm all about the biggest dream. I'm all about the biggest vision. I'm all about let's go big, let's do the next thing. What's the next peak? What are we doing? And we can only do that efficiently when we take the time to reflect on the previous chapter and go through and review. I call it my year audit. So I do this every calendar year. I do this every year on my birthday eve. I do a life audit, and I really tease out what are the essential main lessons I learned in the past year that I'm taking with me. So I'm not starting from scratch. So I really anchor them in, and then it's the foundation that I'm jumping off my new launch pad with. So I'm so excited for this. And yeah. So before we begin, I have a travel altar because I've been traveling. And so the altar just consists of 2 things today. It's my rose quartz crystal for unconditional love. Unconditional love, unconditional love, unconditional love. And I have hot pink nails as well. That's for unconditional love and for my birthday, because my birthday is fun, yo. And I also have Ganesha. And Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. He is one of the Hindu gods, and he's been my guide forever. So Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Ganesha, for removing all of the obstacles between us and the truth of all people, for the freedom of all people and the highest timeline and good of all. So that is our altar. I'm so grateful and excited. I'm back. I'm ready to just record a fresh podcast. Like last week was a repost, and this one, I have so much potency flowing through my channel. I went to the live Vortex Fest with Gala Darling yesterday. And so I'm just feeling really lit. I'm feeling really excited. I'm feeling really hopeful and just honestly unfuckwithable. That's how I feel right now. And I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful, and I'm grateful to share all of these essential lessons of year 31. So before we begin, let's connect our energies and feel your feet on Mother Earth, no matter what you're doing. Whether you're receiving this on YouTube, whether you're walking by a pond or a lake, and you're just observing the natural world, whether you're driving, be here now. And we'll take 3 breaths together. Inhale through the nose. Fully present, receiving the gift of life force energy. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through your nose. Soaking yourself in divine white light. Call in your guides, call in your angels, call in everything you need to make this magic, to receive these lessons, to receive these potency, to unlock your power. Exhale out the mouth. Last one. Inhale through the nose. This time, feel a red, deep, dark hug of safety surrounding your whole body. Bring an intention to the surface of your mind for what energy you're bringing to the space, an openness, a love, a curiosity, a joy. And exhale out the mouth. Okay, my loves, blink open your eyes and let's rock and roll in this episode. Can I get a hell yeah? Okay, I fucking love this podcast. Can I just say, I feel like I tell y'all that every week, and I fucking love it here. I love the deep dives. I love being able to say what really matters. Oh, it's everything for my projector heart. So this episode, 5 essential lessons of year 31. So I really, like I mentioned in the intro, is that something people really miss at the threshold of a new chapter is they're so focused on the next peak, they don't look back and see what lessons, what golden nuggets are vital for you to really notice and consciously take with you. So when we're in these threshold moments, it's very deeply important to, it's just like the end of a moon phase. It's just like the end of a cycle where you're honoring the cycle. And it's not about planting the new seeds yet. It's about, okay, I am reviewing. What did I learn? What am I taking with me? What am I letting go? Okay. And so it's a very important process of identifying the key patterns and elements that you were taught in your previous year to take with you and build on top of consciously. So, and very specifically, I wanted to do 5 essential lessons. So I've really been thinking about the word essential. And it came up obviously during the pandemic and COVID-19 with essential workers. And it's like, what's essential? What's essential? And then I think of Greg McKeown's work. If you don't know Greg McKeown, he wrote the book Essentialism. And he also wrote a book called Effortless, which came after the original Essentialism. And, this is major Virgo energy. All right. At the time of this recording, we have Mars in Virgo, and then we also have Mercury in Virgo, which is in its highest expression. It's in its highest expression, highest exaltation. It's precision through words. It's all about efficiency and precision. And so I really wanted to narrow in the essential lessons of year 31 because, of course, did I learn more about unconditional love? 1,000%. Like, if I talk about the lessons from year 31 and I were to share all of them, this would be a fucking 12-hour podcast. All right. And I do like long podcasts, but that is not the vibe. And I really wanted to just pinpoint the essential ones that set this year apart from my other years in existence. And I really want to speak into as well the deep importance and power of our 31st and 32nd year on the planet. Why? Because it's immediately following our first Saturn return. So the choices we make when we are 31 and 32 define our legacy, because it's like, hey, you had all these lessons. You're going to implement that shit. You're going to take that shit with you. You're going to study it and tease out the essential pieces. This is what makes a legacy. This is what makes a leader. And so immediately following your first Saturn return, age 31 and 32, is go time. It's like, what am I going to do with all that learning? So it's a vital time. It's a vital time. So I have my Saturn in Aquarius. I just completed my Saturn return, and Saturn entered Pisces on March 7th. So about April, May, June, July, 5 months ago. And so I'm in this key pivotal time window of powerful decisions and powerful reflection. And how am I going to take this with me? Okay, so let's get into the 5 essential lessons of year 31. Okay. So now you know the framework. Now you know how I think about it. Now you know how you can frame it for yourself. Here's what came through for me. Okay. Lesson number 1 that I carved out. All right. What created you success in the past will become the very thing that blocks your next evolution, your next level of success. And so this is something that I had heard murmurings of for maybe I heard murmurings of it when I was 30, but it was really in this past year. So when I think about let's just backtrack a little bit. When I think about where I was 1 year ago, I had just moved into my dream home in Chicago. I hadn't even officially become a shaman yet. I had just moved into this gorgeous 3-bedroom, beautiful home with a kitchen with, white granite countertops. And it was everything I thought it was the dream. And I thought, I'll probably have my first kid in this place and everything. And then, what happened in the past year? I became a shaman. Like, that was massive. I experimented and discovered all these different ways that I could share my gifts. I got to connect with the most amazing clients I've ever connected with. And I really went through a huge cleaning out process of what was aligned and not aligned in my life. And if you want more on that specific journey, you can go to the episode Relentless Intuition, Moving to Maui. So it really has been a wild year, because mindful music and everything, I didn't end it completely, but I released a lot of that when I left Chicago. Like, if you would have told me 1 year ago that I would be sitting in an Airbnb in LA on my way to relocate to Maui, I probably would have fell over in my chair. I wouldn't have been surprised, but I'd be like, how the fuck are we doing that? So that's just to paint a picture of like where I was before and where I am now. Like, it's a huge, massive difference. Okay. And so going back to the first lesson, what created you success in the past will become the very thing that blocks your next evolution. So what I discovered again and again and again this year is the ways that I had operated in that had created success, like success that I could count on in the past, immediately became my biggest blocks. So like the ways that I was running and operating my business, where I was trading time for money, like that worked for me for a really long time. I created a really impactful soul 6-figure business doing that. And then I was like, there's a ceiling on this. There's a cap on my impact. There's a cap on my income. There's a cap on my energy. I'm burnt out as fuck. And so the very things that created my success in the first place became my block. And so I believe this happens at every stage in the journey, is like, hey, that thing that got you here is not going to get you there. So that was a very key, essential lesson of this past year, is like, what created success for you in the past in that specific way is it transforms into a block. First, it's like, oh, this is the pathway to paradise, baby. I'm crushing my goals. I'm having fun. I'm making a change in the world. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that thing that made success, boom, it's now a block. Because you have bigger dreams, you have bigger aspirations, you want more. Your vision's getting way bigger. It's a God-sized vision. Okay. So what created success in the past will become the very thing that blocks your next evolution. So that happened for me many times in my business. It happened many times for me in relationships. And it's like being able to let that go and know that you're paving a new path, and that's okay. And so just calling that shit in advance. So when I move forward, I know that like the things that create my next goal are one day going to be the block to my next goal after that. And that's just part of the journey. Okay. Essential lesson number 2, holy habits are the frameworks that hold innovation, creativity, and all states of me. So my signature program for leaders is called 3D Moves, and one of the main modules is called Holy Habits. I specialize in equipping leaders with mastering habits that are holy to support their holiness. So we do it aligned with their astrology. We do it coded in through breathwork so they can be consistent in following through. Because we don't rise to our expectations, as Archilochus says, we fall to the level of our training. And so my holy habits were the framework that held my innovation. I innovated a lot this year. I tried a lot of new things. I tried like, oh, I'm going to do these astrology masterclasses. I'm going to do 3D moves. I'm going to do this mastermind. Like I'm going to do all of this stuff like different. I'm going to tweak with it here. I'm going to tweak with it there. And it's just like being willing to innovate, being able to innovate is a direct result of your habits. Because if you're not holding it down in the health category, if you're not holding it down in managing your time and attention, so many people give their attention away to screens all day long, and then they wonder why they're not getting anything done. Okay. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. All right. And creativity, innovation and creativity go together like avocado and more avocado, because I fucking love avocado. I'm able to be creative because of my holy habits. And the thing is, like, I've had my holy habits for a really long time, and they've always held my innovation and they've always held my creativity. But I didn't realize until this year how much they did, because I got such a mirror from my clients and my community. When I launched 3D Moves, people are like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And I kind of took it as a given. And I got so deeply clear through the reflection of others that it became an essential lesson. It's like my holy habits fucking hold my life. The reason I'm able to innovate is because I have a framework of habits that supports me. The reason I'm able to be creative is because I have a framework of habits that supports me. I have health habits. I have money habits. I have relationship habits. I have business habits. I have healing habits. I have, I'm obsessed with making systems for efficiency, and I make them a game and I make them a habit. So then they're automatic. And I teach that in 3D moves. So go to the link in the show notes if you want to join that. It's fucking epic. We have a live call in September. Holy habits also hold all states of me. Okay, so I fell apart for 6 months in the year 31. It's when everything started, to the first lesson, the old ways of success are the blocks to the new success. Everything started falling apart in my life. And I was losing income streams. I was losing friends. I was losing clients. Like things were just falling out of my life, left, right, and center. Like the universe was just like cleaning my life for everything that wasn't aligned. And I had so many days where I cried. I didn't know which way was up. You know what held me? You know what allowed me to still serve with excellence? You know what allowed me to heal myself in real time during those moments? My holy habits. So lesson number 2, essential lesson. Holy habits are the frameworks of life, of your life, that hold innovation, creativity, and all states of you. No habits, no innovation. No habits, no creativity. No holy habits, no net of support for all states of you. Okay? Essential lesson number 3. Wild willingness. That's all I wrote down. But wild willingness. Something I say to my guides every morning. I ask them what the lessons are. I ask them to make it clear for me. And I say, I'm willing to go and I'm willing to grow. I say this, actually. I say, I'm willing to know. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to go. And this is all wild willingness. Wild willingness. And why this became an essential lesson of year 31 is I had to be willing to do so many deeply uncomfortable things that I didn't understand. My logical mind, my conscious mind was like, yo, what the fuck are we doing? And my intuition was like, this is correct. And so I was just willing. That's why that episode on the backstory to Maui was called Relentless Intuition, because I was relentless with the willingness. I was relentlessly willing to go where spirit called me, willing to go in a wild way, in an untamed way. Fuck the patriarchy, fuck the status quo, fuck the norms, fuck mediocrity. Mediocrity is not normal. It's normalized. And so when we get really clear on that and we remember, I'm a child of the stars and I'm going to live like it. If I'm a piece of God source energy, I'm limitless. Anything is possible. The only thing blocking me is my human mind. And so this wild willingness to go, to actually go, to actually make the move. So many people say shit and never do it. So many people receive intuitive hits and never act on them. Why? Because they're scared. Do I think fear is a valid reason to not do something? No, I don't. I actually think fear is a reason you should move toward it faster because you're leaving your comfort zone. And obviously, I'm not talking about putting yourself in like physical peril or something like that. However, wild willingness. And that all led me to going to Maui tomorrow morning on my birthday. I'm so excited. And then also is like, even in the past week, I'll just be real with y'all. In the past week, there's been insane fires on the island of Maui, and it's tested me. I was like, oh, we're not done with the lessons. We are not done with these lessons. And it's like, are you still willing? Because I checked in with my intuition again and again and again and again. I'm on divine assignment, y'all. I'm on divine assignment, and I obey, and I'm willing to go where I'm called. And so this third lesson is like, yeah, I'm still in that wild willingness. I'm in the wild willingness, and I'm so grateful. And it's a skill. It's a skill to be cultivated and honed and then trusted. Because I can look back at my life and be like, oh, the times where I was willing to go where my intuition called me, straight up magic, straight up miracles, straight up just like abundance beyond my wildest dreams in all the ways. So wild willingness, that's the third lesson. Okay, fourth lesson. I learned what it really means to honor my body and my energy. Okay, so here's the thing. And I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast before, but I did not realize until this year this essential lesson of what it means to honor my body and my energy. And it's crazy because I'm a healer. I work with the nervous system. I work with the cells. I work with the body. It's like, duh, why didn't I know this? It's just the conditioning. It's the conditioning. It's the programming. And all of these are obviously intertwined because I'm a complete human. I learned what it really means to honor my body and my energy because my mind is so powerful that I can command my mind to overpower my body. I learned how to do that as a classical musician because in auditions for classical music, my body would always go into fight or flight. And so I just obtained such powerful, precise command of my mind that I can will myself to do things that my body said that it's a no for my body. And I discovered this when I started learning more about being a projector. I realized, hey, you built a 6-figure business operating as a generator. You're not a generator, though. You're a projector. You didn't come here to do all the doing. And so really just, what does it mean to actually honor the body and my energy? And it's like really fine tuning that line of like, yes, I follow through on my commitments. Like I'm one of the most committed people I know. I follow through. I show up. I do what I say I'm going to do. And there's room to honor the body. There's room to honor my energy. Like, hey, I have one podcast in me today, even though I wrote down, literally, you guys, I had like 4 tasks written down to do today that I wanted to create because I felt so inspired. And there's just so much going on in the unlocking of a new earth right now. I'm like, I'm going to talk about this astrology. I'm going to do this podcast. I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. And then I literally looked in the mirror and I was like, you are so tired, girl. Like you went to this huge event yesterday, which was a lot of energy. Like you're literally moving across the globe tomorrow morning. This is your last time on the mainland for I don't even know how long. And like, let's do one podcast. Let's do one podcast. We're going to take a nap. We're going to go on another walk on the beach because we can and because we're alive and because that's the energy that your body's calling you towards. And then guess what? You're going to come home and you're going to go to bed early because that's what your body wants. And you're going to drink more water. And so I really just, I had the excitement and I noticed the pattern. Okay. And then I said, what would it mean to honor my body and my energy right now? Because I can crack the whip on myself. I can crack the whip on myself without even realizing it, because I've done it I literally have done it for 31 years of my life. I just started to fully understand that 6 months ago. Forever, I am grateful to my mentor, Aisha Durrani, Oath Oracle. She's a fellow projector, and she, through the lens of astrology and just powerful coaching, really helped me realize these things just so much more deeply. And so that is an essential lesson of the past year that I'm taking with me, in the rest of my fucking life. Okay. Lesson number 5, quantum trust in the divine. I thought I trusted the divine before. And I just laugh because, I did. And it's not that I didn't trust spirit before, but I gained such a deeper respect and trust for spirit this year. It started when I became a shaman and my psychic abilities got unlocked. And, I was forced into this lesson of quantum trust when I was receiving all of these messages, like, you're living in the wrong place, like, you're supposed to release these certain parts of your business and these certain ways of being. And I didn't know which way was up. And it was really challenging. And I just was called forward into the deepest trust I've ever had in spirit and God and source. And I say quantum trust because the quantum trust is what creates the quantum breakthrough, is what creates the beautiful miracles that you don't see because you don't know everything, because you're not God. And our one job is to follow our intuition. Our one job is to follow the call. Our one job is to be decisive and act clearly and obviously. So I really, really learned just this trustful in the divine, because I know when I'm receiving a message from spirit. I know when I'm receiving a message from my own intuition. I know when I'm receiving a ping. Like, quantum trustful in the divine. And you're able to quantum trust when you study the divine, when you're in daily relationship with the divine, and you've built a rapport with the divine. Okay. So it's not like an overnight thing. This, the spiritual life led by spirit is not a one-night stand. It is a lifetimes long relationship. So I really, 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 really learned what it means to trust, to let go, to let God rush in with a miracle. So these are the 5 essential lessons of the past year of my life. And I send them to you. Like, what does this mean for you? How can you apply them in your life? How can you take them and run with them in your life? Like, that's the point of this podcast. Like, obviously I share a lot through my own story because, it's in my blueprint. I'm a Leo. I'm meant to share through story, and storytelling is one of the most powerful ways of leading, of creating change, of connection with other humans. And, these are the essential lessons that I am taking with me on my journey tomorrow and for the rest of my life. And so how do they apply for you in your life? How do they apply for you in your leadership? Like, where is a way that what's a way you created success in the past that's now a block to your next level? And what are you going to do about it? Okay. What about holy habits? How's your innovation? How's your creativity? How's your ability to hold all states of you? How are your holy habits? If you don't have holy habits, you are leaving impact, income, and innovation on the table. And we can't do that for a new earth. We need all the impact. We need all the income. We need all the innovation. So if you don't have holy habits, you're leaving those 3 things on the table. and you're not even close to scratching your potential. Wild willingness. Are you willing? Are you willing to go where you're called? Are you willing to make the uncomfortable action? Are you willing to leave the comfort zone? Are you willing to bet on yourself? And are you willing to do it in a wild way, in a mystical way, in a way that says, fuck you to all the things that kept you small for so long, and say, fuck yes to the truth of how big your soul really is? That's a wild willingness. Okay. What does it mean for you to honor your body and your energy? And so something sneaky that can happen in this one is some people are like, I'm just honoring my energy. I'm just honoring my body. And they use it as an excuse to not take consistent action because it scares them. Okay. So I'm just going to call that shit out. And that's something that I just like simply don't allow that behavior in my life. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to choose to be lazy. No, I'm not going to choose to like not go for the dream, but it's a very fine-tuned line. It's unique to each of us. It's unique to our astrology. It's unique to our human design. But like, sometimes honoring your energy is taking action. So only you will know this. And I help my clients tease this out very specifically. What does it mean for you to honor your body and your energy? We are in what I'm calling, and my sacred collaborator sister is, the Saturn Return. And we're in a very key pivotal moment of a new earth, y'all, where the divine feminine is returning in full force, in full potency. There's some dark feminine power that's been suppressed. And we get to bring that shit back. And there's no way we're doing it if we're extracting our own life force. So how can you honor your body and your energy as a core value in your life and your leadership? And knowing that allowing burnout is allowing yourself to pour dirty medicine into the field. And that's not a thing. That's not acceptable. That's old paradigm extraction culture. Here in this community, we believe in new earth, purity of the medicine, honored through the body, honored through Mother Earth, honored through the sacred divine feminine energy and frequency that we get to bring back. And then finally, where can you trust more? How is your relationship with the divine? Do you have a relationship with the divine? If you're listening to this podcast, I bet you do, because otherwise you probably wouldn't vibe with me, and like you probably started this episode and just press stop if you didn't like believe in spirit, because that's just not what we do here. We're a bunch of mystics that make movements. That's what we are. Mystics that make movements that matter. Okay? How can you trust the divine more? How can you trust the divine plan and quantum trust? How can you lean back in a quantum quadrant of the divine because you study her, because you're in daily relationship with her, because you have reverence for her, and because you honor the part of the divine that pulses through your veins, through the way you decide your life. So these are the 5 essential lessons of year 31. I pass them on to you, boo. I pass them on to you. I invite you to reflect, explore, discover, what does this mean for you in your life? And if you want to dive deeper into working with me, there are 2 very specific ways that are available right now that you and I can go deep together. So one, on August 17th, Julia Phoenix and I are leading the Saturn Return. This is a 2-hour experience for you to activate and amplify truth. And this is all in the Lemurian frequencies. This is a DNA activation by Julia and a breathwork journey by me. And we also have something fucking epic that we're announcing later this week. And I'm deeply grateful and excited about it. So That's the first thing. Second thing, I'm actually going to share 3 things. Second thing is 3D moves, just because I mentioned it in this episode, and it's kind of the vibe of this episode. If you want to learn holy habits with me, if you want to learn sacred structure, if you want to learn the how-to steps to hold your 5D vision and anchor it in the 3D, join 3D moves. This is my signature program. We're meeting live in September for a live breathwork journey and new module. So as a listener of the podcast, you get a discount code. So all of that info is in the show notes. And then finally, if you want to be ride or die with me, if you want to go super deep, if you want me one-on-one in your corner, supporting you in your leadership through healing, through knowledge, through skill, through shamanism, through the stars, through breathwork, through strategy, through skill mastery, apply to be my one-on-one client. I am calling in 2 VIP platinum clients, and spoiler alert, you come to Maui and do a VIP day with me in these containers. So something that I'm really casting a vision for is a lot more in-person experiences in the coming year. And so this is occurring in my one-on-one containers now. So apply through the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see who claims those spots, those spaces. And yeah, I'm just really focusing my energy, my undivided attention on very few one-on-one clients, on everything with the Lemurian return and what that's going to unlock. And then my own personal growth right now, because I'm going through a major, massive transformation moving to Maui. Like, this shit is it's challenging me. It's challenging me. And I'm not even physically there yet. So I mean, when you listen to this episode, I will be there, because this podcast will drop on the 16th. This will actually drop on the new moon in Leo, square Uranus. So buckle up, y'all. Keep your eye out for a new YouTube video on that. But yeah, I wanted to record this episode while I'm in this special portal of like, yeah, this is my last day being 31. And I'm so fucking grateful. I'm going to cry. So grateful to all versions of me the past year and the choices that she made. And just, I'm so grateful that, Spirit placed this mission on my heart. And I'm grateful that I have the courage to say yes again and again and again. And I started this podcast in year 31. And this podcast was on my heart for 3 years before I ever started it. And you know how many coaches told me not to do my podcast? It was bullshit, y'all. They're like, so many people have a podcast. So many people have a podcast. And I had this deep, burning, craving desire to start this. And I'm just so grateful that I did. And I'm so grateful for you in this community and just your soul and being able to channel these transmissions for you and all of us. And it brings me to tears. And, whenever it's my birthday, I think about, little me, like Adrian, when I'm like 5 or 6. And, if she were to look at my life now, she would be really fucking proud of me. And that's what I desire for you as well. I really do. I want you to be living a life where your inner child is like, holy shit, you did it. You did it up big. You did it right. You did it the way we knew this whole time. And so every time I share a podcast, it's to ignite that part of you and give you the tools to make it real. Let's just soak it all in. I love you so much. I believe in you. I believe in a better world. I believe in freedom for all people. I believe in liberation. I believe in unconditional love. I believe in courage over comfort. I believe in your unique gifts and medicine that the world needs now more than ever. So go out there, be an amazing you, because you're the only one that exists in the history of the fucking planet, and we need you. Be kinder to yourself than you feel like you need to be. Look yourself in the eye and say, I love you. Look a stranger in the eye and tell them you love them too. Thank the land that you live on. Thank your ancestors for the work they did to make your life possible. Thank your parents for all the magic and all the wounds, because without it, you wouldn't be. And just thank life every day that you get to be here and do it. I love you so much. If you feel the call, I would love to have you in the Lemurian return. And I would love to support you in one-on-one mentorship. So you know what to do with those invitations. Be the change, be the light. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.